Hello friends, my name is Ryan, and I'm going to tell you a story named The Jimmy Savile Scandal, a beloved entertainer's dark secrets, which is a very amazing story, full of twists. So, let's start. It was a time when he was known to all. He had the charm, the fame, and the popularity that every entertainer dreams of. Jimmy Savile was loved by millions, adored by his fans, and even revered by the media. He was a household name, a man who had achieved what many could only dream of, a position of power, admiration, and trust. He was a man whose smile could light up any room, and whose voice had a unique way of reaching into people's hearts. But behind that smile, there was a secret, a dark secret that no one knew about. Not even those closest to him could have ever imagined the twisted truth that lay hidden beneath the surface of his fame and glory. Jimmy Savile, the beloved entertainer, was living a double life, a life that was far from the wholesome image he portrayed. The first cracks in the facade started to appear when whispers began circulating among a few of his former colleagues. There were rumors, small details that seemed insignificant at first, but the more they were talked about, the more unsettling they became. It was as if something wasn't right. The stories were always just out of reach, but their implications were undeniable. As the years passed, these whispers grew louder, and the truth slowly began to unravel. One by one, women who had been victims of Savile's hidden life began to come forward. Each of their stories was more shocking than the last, painting a chilling portrait of a man who had used his fame and influence to conceal his darkest desires. Savile was no longer the charming entertainer everyone thought they knew. He was a predator, preying on those who trusted him the most. The victims came from all walks of life, young girls, vulnerable women, and even men. The scope of his abuse was staggering, and it seemed like the more they dug, the more they uncovered. The police, the media, and even his close associates had been complicit in covering up his actions for decades. No one had dared to question the man who had brought so much joy to the public. The truth had been hidden, buried deep within the walls of the institutions that had protected him for so long. And then, the bombshell came, the moment that would change everything. A documentary aired, revealing the full extent of Savile's crimes. It was a moment that left the entire nation stunned. The man they had once idolized was now exposed as a monster. His reputation crumbled, and the public's perception of him was shattered beyond repair. The truth was out, and it was uglier than anyone could have imagined. But even in the wake of this revelation, the question remained, how had Savile been able to carry on for so long? How had he managed to evade justice for so many years? The answer, it seemed, was a combination of his charm, his power, and the fear he instilled in those around him. Savile was a master manipulator, able to control the people around him and keep his secrets hidden for decades. But eventually, the truth caught up with him. As the investigation into Savile's actions continued, more and more victims came forward, each one with their own harrowing story to tell. It was a revelation that shook the very foundations of the entertainment industry and left a scar on the collective psyche of the nation. The story of Jimmy Savile serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of speaking out against injustice. It is a cautionary tale of how the most beloved figures can harbor the darkest secrets, and how those who are entrusted with power can use it to exploit and abuse. But as the dust settled, the question remained, how many more like him were out there, hiding in plain sight? The scandal was just the tip of the iceberg, and the damage it caused would be felt for years to come. The lives of Savile's victims were forever changed, and the public's trust in those who had once been revered was shattered. And as the story unfolds, it becomes clear that this isn't just about one man, it's about a system that allowed him to thrive, a system that turned a blind eye to his actions, and a society that failed to protect its most vulnerable. Now, as we reflect on the story of Jimmy Savile and the devastating impact his actions had on so many lives, I want to leave you with a message. Remember, the truth always finds its way to the surface, no matter how deeply it's buried. And while the scars of the past may never fully heal, it's important that we learn from them and ensure that such darkness never takes hold again. If you want to hear more stories like this, full of twists and turns, and uncover the hidden truths behind some of the most shocking events in history, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for more stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Thank you for listening, and remember, sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction.